What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Thank you to those that suggested this idea. I really loved all your suggestions, and I'm not lying, I'm not over-exaggerating and just saying something like that. I really loved them. I liked Ministry one. I liked the Who's Better Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. I liked the U.S. title Chris Benoit title reign, which I really do want to make, but not at the moment. I liked all the suggestions, and thanks to you guys who suggested this one. Like, I forgot about this one. I completely forgot. I would have done Matt Hardy version 1, but many would have thought I influenced the comment section with the post, as you can see here. So that's why I didn't do it. But if you guys really want it, I'll make it later this week. Now, this story was really tremendous and simple. The fans got behind the Rhodes, and I still think that Cody in 2013 was a missed opportunity. It ain't like, oh, he got buried or something like that. I'm just saying, like, he should have been higher in the card, in my opinion. Back then, I thought he was a surefire world champion in WWE, and after holding the IC title, I would have bet money on him winning the title. Then he turned face, and I was like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, but it didn't, and he was booked the Stardust character. While it was a good character, it left him pigeonholed in one position of the card, and it harmed his growth, and had he stayed in WWE, I personally believe he would have been like Dolph Ziggler, albeit a bit worse. He made the best damn decision in May of 2016. I remember the day he left. He took a risk in leaving, but managed to succeed. Now he's in a very comfortable place in AEW. That's a whole other story for another day, but for this one, we're going to focus on the Rhodes brothers and how they feuded with the Authority. Anyways, this story is definitely one of the best from 2013. The Authority were just this big entity that couldn't be messed around with, and the top babyfaces, barring Daniel Bryan, refused to combat the group, and whenever they did, they were dealt with swiftly. They even reduced Big Show to tears, and as for the Rhodes, why the hell wouldn't you root for them? Unless you hated them, I see no reason why you wouldn't get behind them. So right now, let's get into this video. On the September 2nd, 2013 episode of Raw, Cody Rhodes bumped into Randy Orton and Triple H. They did some casual talk, Rhodes and Triple H, when Cody suggested Orton face D. Bryan as it would be best for business. Triple H objected to this and he got personal. He offered a wedding gift for Rhodes, that being a match against Randy Orton, with Cody's career in WWE on the line. So later that night, Cody went out there fighting for his career, and also look at that damn tweet. At this point, Orton was backed by the machine, and there was basically no chance of him losing. Throughout the match, Cody was 100% focused. He refused to slack off. He got the crowd to believe that maybe, just maybe, it was going to be his night. But Orton managed to shut down all of this hope. The fans were booing, and it was RKO time, except that wasn't to be, because Cody Rhodes caught him off guard with the crossroads. 1, 2, no. At this point, doubt set in the second generation star's mind, but the fans were still believers. Unfortunately for him, he tweaked the knee and Orton capitalized. He grabbed the Rhodes and boom, RKO. 1, 2, 3. Michael Cole and the fans really wanted him to win, but it wasn't to be, and the crowd was silenced. Now, this match was great. Why? Not only because of the action, but the emotion, the story. There was a meaning for this match. It just wasn't some match where they're just fighting for no reason. It was because of Cody's job. That's why I love this match. Then Triple H came out. He praised Cody's efforts before firing him. The second generation star was left speechless in the middle of the ring, and the game he showed no emotion in delivering the message. Later that night, Josh Matthews interviewed the former star. He didn't really want to be bothered with the questions, but he obliged. He shouted about how Orton was the better man, and he understood that, but he didn't understand the stipulation. Like, why? Why would they put my job on the line? Before he connected the dots. The WWE never liked the Rhodes. His father was wearing polka dots and dancing around, and his brother, a second generation stud, was put in gold paint and was never the same following that. And he, Cody, he's got to provide for his future wife, but now all that's gone. Josh Matthews then asked one of the most tone-deaf questions you'll ever hear. Is your wife watching the show? Rhodes didn't even bother to answer that, and he walked away. Now, if you're wondering, the reason why Cody departed was obvious. It was because he was getting married. The good thing about this is the fact that despite going away, they still acknowledged that, and they built a story out of it. In response to this unjust firing of Cody Rhodes, the WWE superstars did absolutely nothing. Sure, some confronted the Authority about it, but they were just too scared to fight the machine. They were afraid of their jobs. So who took action? Goldust. Goldust was doing this because his brother was always straightforward. He wasn't fired for doing something like he was in the past, because Goldust got suspended. He got fired several times over the past 15 years. But it was just Triple H throwing his weight around, and if he beats Randy, Cody gets his job back. Triple H tried casting doubt in Goldust's head, and he was under so much pressure to get the W. Other than that, Cody doesn't return. Okay, throughout the match, Goldust was resilient. He received a large amount of punishment, and once again, the fans were all in on the bizarre one. But Orton was at the top of his game. He was absolutely unstoppable. But then, at one point, he made one mistake and Dustin hit the crossroads. The fans were going crazy. Michael Cole was shouting at the top of his lungs, but Orton kicked out. Then, all of a sudden, an RKO from out of nowhere ended things for Goldust and his family. Goldust was visibly disappointed at the loss, and I mean, why wouldn't he be? He was in tears. He gave everything tonight, and it still wasn't enough. Then, To add insult to injury, Stephanie rubbed it in his face and asked for Goldust to join his brother in the unemployment line. The following week, Dusty Rhodes got involved in this whole thing, and he wasn't exactly excited to be there, but it must be done. Stephanie invited him to appear, and it was regarding some business proposal. He said that he wasn't here as the American Dream, but as Virgil Runnels. He wanted to give the McMahon some insight on the bad road he's been through that they've never been through, such as finding ways to pay for the mortgage, the rent-a-car. They never had to scratch and claw and find a way to do it. It was easy for them. And it wasn't about him. It was about Cody's job, and firing him is best for business. Like, how is that best for business? He mentioned how Goldust then stepped up and gave his best, and it wasn't enough. Simply put, Dusty was here to explain what this job meant to Cody and how the authority were heartless, too cruel to see it. He wasn't going to beg for his son's job, though. He just wanted his son to get a chance to fight back for his job. So Stephanie then came out to speak about that business proposal, and she tried to relate to Dusty. She said that he's the son of a plumber, she's the daughter of a genius, and in essence, they'd like to give Cody his job back. Dusty walked away when Stephanie asked if they should give his other son a job, meaning either Cody or Goldust will remain unemployed. And it's Dusty's choice to make that decision. He refused to make a choice, and every moment Stephanie tried speaking, he shut her up. Stephanie asked if he should give the job to the son who's done everything right, or the screw-up who Dusty is to blame for his misfortunes. He asked if she favors one of her children over the others, and he didn't want to do that to his sons. It didn't make sense to him in his eyes. Like, why would I choose one over the other? They're my sons. Stephanie tried making it seem like Dusty was selfish in not giving one of them a job, and he responded asking Stephanie to go straight to hell. Then, the Shield's music played. But just before the trio did something, Stephanie wanted Dusty to have an ally. So she called for the Big Show. Now, for context, Big Show was the authorities' little pet. They had him on a leash, and he couldn't really do anything about it because they provided financial support for himself and his family, and that's a weird story in itself. Anyway, Stephanie gave Dusty two options. Since he doesn't want to give one of his sons a job, Dusty can choose whether or not to receive a beating from the Shield or a KO punch from the Big Show. Big Show then started crying. The Shield were ready to do it, but the Giant refused to allow them to go through with it. He apologized to Dusty in Shawn Michaels WrestleMania fashion before KOing him. He was then loaded into an ambulance. As for the Rhodes, they quickly retaliated on the following episode of Raw, and they were dressed in all black. They jumped the rail and assaulted the Shield. Triple H's response to this, despite feeling angry, he was allowing the Rhodes family to come to Raw, and he was ready to offer a lucrative proposition. Their response, first of all, I don't know why tout was still a thing at this point, but they accepted the invite. So they appeared on that night. Now, I'm not sure about this, but I believe this was the first time the family of three appeared on screen together. I know they appeared at the Hall of Fame one year, but I don't seem to recall them appearing in the ring together. Stephanie congratulated Cody on getting married, and Triple H, he questioned the look of anger on their face, a look of hostility. He tried to make it seem like he's the good guy by placing the blame on the family. He offered Cody the chance to keep his job. He did it so they gave Goldust a chance at bringing his brother back. He failed, and so Dusty was given the choice of Dustin or Cody. He refused, and so he got knocked down. And so Triple H was offering opportunity number 4. As for the proposition, the authority was willing to give both brothers a job. All they had to do was beat the Shield at Battleground. But if they lose, Cody and Dustin will never work for the company, and even Dusty will join them on the unemployment line. Dusty heard enough, and he snatched that mic away. He got in the game's face, and Stephanie threatened him in a nonchalant way, and all of a sudden, the Shield from out of nowhere assaults the duo. Hell, they even went for Dusty a couple of seconds later. Cody tried protecting his father, but it just didn't work out for him. Now, a rumor circulated around the internet that week that Stephanie was pissed when Dusty put his hand in front of her face. I don't know if it's true, but it kind of makes sense because Stephanie almost never gets her comeuppance. But once again, just a rumor. Before their match, the Rhodes promised win or loss. They're going to leave with their heads held high. Cody was humble, and he had the spark plug of a Cuban mother with a work ethic like no one. He said that there was no distance too far, a length he won't go to in order to protect his family's future. He's aware that his family isn't perfect, but tonight he's fighting for them. That's what he said. Now, the match itself was an emotional affair. Cody and Goldust fought for their life, and you could see it. The storytelling was top-notch. Goldust was pretty comfortable in there despite the long absence. The Shield were arrogant. They were composed in a way, and eventually, though, Goldust's lack of recent matches came into play. He was desperately trying to make that tag, but once he did, Cody had a lot of fire. He knocked down Roman. He had the Alabama slam on Seth, the disaster kick on Reigns, and Ambrose even tried getting involved when Dusty whacked him with a belt before connecting with a bionic elbow. The fans were going crazy. Roman tried doing something about it, but Goldust was there to knock him down. In the ring, Seth was looking to steal it, but Cody was very composed. He grabbed Seth in Crossroads position. The fans realized this must be it, and he connected. 1, 2, 3. They've done it. The Rhodes brothers are back. Dusty wept tears in joy. And I really love this match. What makes this match so good? It's not the action, it's the high stakes. It's the fans totally on one side. The storytelling, that's why this match is held in high regard. Then you see this as the perfect match, not because of the action, because the action is, I don't want to say average, but it was like decent, but because of the storytelling. That's what makes this match such a classic and one of the best matches from 2013. The next night on Raw, the newly formed Brotherhood teamed up with Daniel Bryan to face The Shield. After a finish that benefited the good guys, Triple H made the match no DQ, and this gave way to Randy Orton, who interfered and RKO'd Bryan to give his team the victory. But that wasn't it. On the October 14, 2013 episode of Raw, the Rhodes brothers received the opportunity to win the WWE Tag Team Championships from The Shield. Once again, it was no disqualification in this match. Damn. Cody was really over. I don't know how they didn't capitalize on the momentum. It was just a missed opportunity, like I said earlier. The match itself just had a tremendous vibe to it. The Shield were these big bullies that depended on the Authority. Like, they can make a mistake, the Authority will fix it right then and there. Whereas the Rhodes, they couldn't afford to make mistakes. Goldust was on a roll, and then Dean got involved. The fans chanted, "This is awesome." Roman speared the hell out of Goldust through the barricade, and to top it all off, Big Show ran in there, destroyed the Shield as if they were nothing, and made way for Cody to go for the cover. Michael Cole was going crazy, and the brothers did it. They've won the Tag Team Championships. Triple H was going crazy, and all in all, this damn story was fun. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it gave Cody some fire and momentum heading towards the end of the year. Also, both brothers finally won the Tag Team titles together, which is something I never thought I would see. The fans were truly invested in this story, and so was I. I mean, why wouldn't I be? The guys, you just had to root for them. That's what I'm trying to say. What did you guys think of the story? Please comment down below. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was top-notch storytelling. It was basic, but it was special. I do think it's weird, though, that Cody never did something after this. He was just in a tag team with his brother, and it kind of kept him grounded for a bit before the Stardust thing, which basically destroyed any hope of him becoming a bigger star in WWE. So yeah, I personally think Cody should have gone after the title following this feud. Problem is, it would have gotten in the way of Daniel Bryan, the Batista thing. Who knows how it would have went had Cody featured in the title picture. So yeah, eventually I'm going to do Stardust. We're going to look at Cody's run on the Indies, and I just forgot. We got to cover that All-In pay-per-view. Like, that thing, it's the catalyst for AEW. It's just so important to the growth of that company. So yeah, I will have to do that one eventually. What do you guys think? Cody, should he have been world champion? Should he have reached the main event scene following this? Not necessarily win the titles. Yeah, what do you guys think? That's it for this video. Make sure you hit a disaster kick on the like button and press the crossroads on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.